Okay, so now that you're an expert with arrays, we're going to go ahead and go on to chapter 8 and use, well, you can see right here, searching and sorting arrays. So you'll see a couple different ways to search, and you'll go through those. You'll see linear and binary searches, and you'll end up sorting. So you have bubble selection sort, and those are the ones that we'll mainly play with in this chapter. All right, so we've got a few things just really quickly that I wanted to kind of go over with you with this chapter. And so I'm just going to kind of roll over here. You can see that we're only spending 1 week on it. So these things are due December 2nd. And I don't think you'll have any troubles with them. They take a little bit of time to set up, but there's some good resources for these. So anyway, so we'll have a week for this. And then next week, chapter 9, we'll have a week for that too. But we'll talk about that next week. Anyway, taking a look at the layout, we have nothing in my programming lab this week. All right, so it's just setting these programs up, getting them going, but nothing in my programming lab. I wanted to point out, though, you can see the programs that we're doing in here. So this is the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one. I kept them in order, but if we take a look at the video links down here, so there's a video on binary search, there's one on selection sort, and then there's a secondary selection sort video. This is actually from a different edition of the book. I think this is from the early objects edition of the book with one of the co-authors of that edition, and she goes through a little bit more detail. They're basically covering the same, I think even the same problem set. But she does, you can see by the time she spends a little bit more time going through things and discusses a few other, things along the way. So definitely check those out. But you'll notice in these where it says on here, so solving the lottery winners program, and this one is the account validation modification program. So these two videos to help you out, and you can see I put little video links in here. So you're doing two programs. So we have this charge account, and then we have the lottery one, and then after that you're going to modify both of them. Okay, and that's what these are doing here. And then there's a final one that we'll talk about in a second. So anyway, on these, I might suggest here you have these problems are very similar. So since this one has a video, you might start with the second problem and get that one done, then go back and do the first one because I think the video might help you with that. And the same thing for when you get to the modification. So this one you have to do the charge account on your own, but then you notice there's a video that goes along with the modification, and that'll make more sense to you when you get to that part of the chapter. And when you get to the problem, you'll see what the modification is, and then you have to finish up the lottery winners one kind of on your own with that one too. When you come down to the string selection sort, this has a skeleton code or starter code with it. So I pasted it into the actual assignment, section in Canvas. But the program right here, if you just want to download it, it's really easy to do, and then you just copy and paste it or use this as a starter file, whatever you want to do. All right. So anyway, so that's basically the gist of chapter 8. I think that's about it. That's about all I can think of right now. Yeah, I think that's about it. So just hopefully don't have any issues with this stuff. I think you'll find it's fairly simple by this point. Arrays are hopefully something you're familiar with, and you're like, oh, this stuff's a piece of cake. So searching and sorting them isn't going to be a big problem at all. So anyway, that's it for chapter 8.